On this Veterans Day weekend, we're not only thanking those who served and continue defending our country, we're sharing the story of healing battle scars, both hidden and visible, from being on the front lines of freedom. This story takes us to Johnson County.
The poles have hooks on them. The smaller fish might have an easier time.
When it comes to outdoor adventures,
these are good.
Nick Bennett and his son Eli,
or didn't we take these?
Have done it all.
We went someplace.
But fishing in Nineveh,
we love the spot.
Means quality family bonding.
There's not a whole lot of people out here.
Dad jokes included.
You always outfish me until now.
It comes with fatherly advice.
There, see? You got it. Get it.
Along with other feelings.
Because it gets frustrating.
That cast beyond fishing.
Sorry, it's just the week. Veterans Day, it's just a lot of emotions.
Nick served in the Marine Corps.
8 years active duty, 4 years in the reserves.
He comes from a military family.
With my grandfathers, who were military vets, my cousin Tanya, who survived 9/11 in New York. It was, my time to go.
And after 9/11, Nick re-enlisted.
We were in a little town called Mahmudiya, and this was also our worst week in Iraq. We lost half our guys that week.
Nick insisted on going out in the field that Veterans Day in 2004.
I worked in what's called the Internet Cafe, and that's where we had all the computers and phones so the guys could communicate, with the family back home.
Like any Marine does, he followed orders from his sergeant.
And he asked for a piece of cleaning gear, and so I got up and got in front of the Humvee. I heard a whistle off my left shoulder, and I knew it was big. I knew what it was, and I knew I wasn't coming home.
107mm Chinese rocket sent shrapnel flying, blasting Nick.
They put me in the back of a Humvee, and I kept telling the guys, I'm just tired. I just want to go to sleep. And they're like, you can't. About Dan Miller, who was the company gunny at the time, he saved my life because I was gone. And, I don't remember it, but he hit me hard enough to bring me back.
The injuries, extensive.
They said you could actually put your hand through my leg that day.
Shrapnel hit his shoulder and back.
This is the one with a piece of my uniform still on it.
Force from the blast tore apart his hand.
I've got a piece of my right hip and underneath my left thigh and my left hand.
Physical recovery took 2 months in the hospital. Mental recovery took even longer.
I went from, this tough Marine who thought he could take on the world to somebody who, I thought was broken and useless.
It wasn't until 8 years later, during a Wounded Warrior Project event, Nick could share his story with family.
And I just put my hand on my little girl's knee. It was like, are you okay with this? And I was worried because, I had walked away from my kids, and I was worried about if she was going to reject me like I rejected them. But she said yes, she's good with it. And so I told the story, and me and my little girl healed that day. And I tell everybody, when I got off the sailboat, walking on the dock, it was like a brand new path in life that had opened up.
Wounded Warrior opened more than outdoor fun.
You see it swimming off there?
Yeah.
It closed gaps in family relationships for Nick, including his son.
I think it's just very peaceful that he's here with us.
These moments of peace bring more depth than the fishing lure sinks.
Rewarding feeling because, he made it, and, he's going to be okay, really, because you can see him. He's right there.
I'm just thankful, for everybody who put me back together.
And on this Veterans Day, he has this message to other vets like him.
I'll welcome home and just let you know how much you're loved and appreciated for all you did. You ready to go to school?
Bite-sized conversations. Beyond the fishing. bonding a veteran father with family.
Nick enlisted and made it up to staff sergeant. He was medically discharged in 2007. You remember the company gunnery sergeant Dan Miller, who sent Nick into the field? Well, we connected with him over Zoom, and he spoke about the healing he's found after reconnecting with Nick through Wounded Warrior Project years after the bomb hit.
As a leader of Marines, I take that very seriously. Here it is, this young man had been torn apart, and I felt very responsible for him. And I hadn't seen Nick since he was laying on the ground bleeding out. And we started crying, and we hugged, and we sat down, and we started talking. And he said, I have to let you know that the doctors at the hospital in Baghdad, they said that what you did, I owe my life to you. And Wounded Warrior Project showed me a path to a new normal and a life of forgiveness and a life of helping others. And they can do it with anyone. They can help everyone and anyone. That's why we exist.
If you're a veteran who wants to know what resources are accessible to you, we have information for Wounded Warrior Project, HVAF, and others in the story on our website, WRTV.com.